Hey there, YouTube. This is Grimweird coming back at you with more Project Ozone 3 Kappa mode playthrough action. Um, last episode, I had talked about expanding our starting little area that was one chunk big into four chunks, and then also making another platform for our portals and whatnot. So I have done that, and actually quite a bit more. I shouldn't have started a new playthrough on a weekend because I played many hours this weekend just farting around trying to learn my way around to this new huge mod pack with a bunch of mods I don't know. So here's our original bedrock. This used to be surrounded by some grass. This corner used to have, I think this was in place, this one shelving unit, and then I had my crafting table and tinker's tables in this corner, and then I had some hopping bonsais here. I quickly realized that with such a big, diverse mod pack, there is just way too many items, and we were going to need more shelving units. So I've created 3 more shelving units here. So now we can take a look. I got a bunch of stuff going on in here, mostly metals and stuff that I've sieved, a few other things. We're going to start adding some stuff in here. So far there is a shulker pearl. Got some stuff in here. This is mostly going to be building supplies and furniture and machines. And then over here it's going to be mostly plant stuff. Where's my plant stuff? Here it is. So yeah, mostly food and plants. And even that's going to spill out. So this is 24 crates worth, or 24 chests worth, or 12 double chests worth. When I get into Botania and when I get into other stuff, I'm sure that that's not even going to be enough. But hopefully by the time things get too out of control, we can get into some applied energistics ME system or something to help us out. I don't usually put my crafting tables in the ground, but then again, I don't usually play skyblock. And I don't, this thing is so huge that I sort of wanted to be able to, from my crafting table, access a whole bunch of storage and be able to search for a lot of it. I got to get used to these things. So basically, these things, when you click this button, it condenses everything down to the lowest drawer and then makes the spillover on the middle drawer and then the spillover from that on the top drawer. So as soon as I pushed one of this button, my idea of keeping different things on different shelves went right out the window. So now if I click on the middle one, there's nothing there because I've condensed it all down to the bottom one. But when the bottom one fills up, you can't add stuff if you click to the bottom one. So I got to remember to basically add stuff to the top and then condense down and then search from the top. In fact, one thing I might try before I get out of this is actually putting these in the ground so that basically only the top shelf shows. Because I think that's all you would really need if you use the search function. Anyway, that's just neither here nor there. I do have this one weird thing where occasionally I'll do this and I'll start typing and there will be a puff of pink smoke and the GUI closes. I just went through a little while ago and basically erased a whole bunch of controls. There was all sorts of mod-specific controls key-coded, and so I erased a bunch of those to try and see if maybe while I was typing I was hitting a hotkey for some other mod. But anyway, we got the usual crafting station, tool forge. I did update it to a tool forge. I haven't made any of the advanced tools yet. Don't know if I'm really going to need them in this playthrough, but other than the laser gun, which I'm not even sure if that one was advanced. One thing I did notice is that my pattern chest did spill all of its contents when I broke it. So that's different from the last mod pack I played. That might be a config setting or a version difference. I noticed that was something else as well. Oh yeah, storage drawers sort of automatically tape themselves up and don't spill their contents in Enigmatica 2 Expert, but they do spill contents here. So anyway, just differences between mod packs or versions. So basically, if we take a look at our chunk borders, this one square that I'm sort of standing in the middle of at the end of last episode was our world. We had set up our porcelain smelter. We had generated some lava. We had a little bit of sieving going on. We had some automated dirt, etc. And let's take a look at the sort of geographical changes first. I did blow us out to a 2x2. So now we have 4 chunks for our sort of main base here. We've already talked about changes to what I'm thinking of as crafting corner. So I got a bunch of iron ingots and oak wood here, plus all of these things going on. I upgraded the Indus furnace. I think we had a gold one with these 3 before at the end of last episode. So I went through the progression of diamond, emerald, and indust after doing a bunch of sieving and getting some diamonds and emeralds. So this thing's pretty fast now. Did I already blow through everything? I already blew through everything. I don't even know if I have anything left to. I can make more. Charcoal. Or I can do that. Still not 100% used to these. Gosh darn it. Not 100% used to these barrels yet. Okay, there we go. So yeah, we'll just throw some of this up there. Ooh, a cows. I got cows. We gotta go check that out. But you can see it's going pretty darn fast. With the speed upgrade, it's moving fast. With the efficiency upgrade, it's burning through tiny charcoal pretty darn slow. So that is good. I think I'm going to go ahead and dump a bunch of that up there. Let's go check out what's going on over here. I got a pig and some fluid cows. I've never played with fluid cows, so that's interesting. Bio-crude, liquid chocolate, fluid cow. All right. So one of the things I decided to do, since I spent a lot of my time over here in crafting corner, I decided to move my grass over into this far corner to see if animals would spawn. And shortly after I did that, I did get a chicken, and I've built a chicken enclosure, and we're getting eggs, and I think they're going to fall off the edge here. I think we are, yeah, so we're getting now eggs and feathers, so that's good. And he's just sitting on a hopper feeding into this crate. What do I want to do with these animals? I should have put some fence around the grass area. Not sure what to do with these move fluid cows, so I'm not sure if I care about them or not. I'm going to ignore them for right now. So, let's see. Other things that I did was I already had some dirt automated set up, which is currently switched off. And my hopper and my chest is filled up with just a bunch of junk. I added this, so I created a sink for water. I've got a fluid conduit from Ender.io feeding into a wooden barrel. Then up here, I threw some dust in. I've sort of stopped now because I think I have enough for now. But I threw dust up here, and it went down through the hopper and went in there. And then it was pulled out by this embers rekindled item extractor with a redstone signal turned on through the item pipe into this chest, and we have automated clay, and I might make some more or not. I haven't decided yet. I did finally make a compacting drawer. If we talk about that for a second, the compacting drawer gave me some pause. I had to get some infinity dust, which means that I had to make a flint and steel to click fire onto our bedrock to get grains of infinity. And for the flint and steel, it actually uses steel in this expert mod pack. So to get steel, I went ahead and put, let's see, how did I do that? I think what I did was I wanted to use charcoal and save my coal. So what I did was, pardon me, I have to clear my throat. So what I did was I made charcoal. I turned the charcoal into graphite in the Indus furnace, or I think it might have still been a gold furnace at the time. And then I took those graphite ingots and the molten iron into here. So if we take a look at molten steel, sometimes you have to sort of dig around through the JE to figure out, what the best way to approach some of this stuff is. So basically I was looking to alloy liquefacted coal and molten iron. Because if we take a look at other ways to make steel, I did not have access to most of them. So a steel ingot, the tiny progressions one, I think there used to be a tiny progressions one that was doable, but and that was in when I first investigated this a few months back. That was in PO3 Titan mode I was in. That loophole may have been closed because I wasn't able to find the recipe from Tiny Progressions that used a hammer to do that. So I was not able to do this. I'm not sure what this thing is. So I might be missing something here with the Tome of Alkahestry. I'll have to do some Googling and figure out what that is and if it's turned on in this Kappa mode. But the normal steel, these are all just for, I looked at a bunch of ways here. We got steel dust, we got steel blend, steel grit. Basically a lot of stuff that I couldn't get a hold of there. And then of course alloy furnaces and things like that. A lot of things I didn't have, alloy smelter. But anyway, after digging around for a while, this molten steel thing seemed to be working. I need to figure out these animals. Let's see, so yeah, getting back to this. So I needed to figure out how to make liquefacted coal, and then these were the things I could melt, and this is where I got happy, is that I found I could save my coal and use charcoal, because I have, thanks to the bonsai hopper, I can have basically all the wood and all the charcoal I could want. And so looking through these and different ways to do it, I ended up going this route, which was turning charcoal into graphite bars and then throwing the graphite bars into my smeltery. But pretty much any of this for liquefacted coal probably would have worked, depending on where you're at and what you're doing and how you like it. So I was able to make steel, got my flint and steel. Basically, if you haven't seen that before, we can do that real quick. This gives you a feel for how much of it I used up to get my stuff, but basically you light it up like this, and then you have about a 50% chance of a grain of infinity popping up when it burns out. So we'll let that go a moment. Put this away. And I didn't get one, but you get the point. So that's why we uncovered the bedrock, is for things like that. So that gave us a compacting drawer, so I was able to move my cobblestone generator onto a compacting drawer, which makes me happy because now it's automatically compacting. And then when I go to sieve stuff, since I want to hammer compressed cobblestone down into stuff to make things faster, I can just grab a stack of compressed cobblestone out of this and hammer it into compressed gravel, etc. I moved my, to make room for storage or shelves, I moved my hopping bonsai over here. I'm still doing oak, and then I've also changed this over to sugar since I moved my little grass and pond over here. I have upgraded to 4 diamond meshes. They were iron stiffened before, but now they are diamond stiffened, so that is cool. I got a full barrel of lava here from this little setup, which I talked about last episode. I did see a nice trick for I was watching somebody to look for ideas like hypnotized maybe. And so my barrel that is underneath this water, you don't actually have to move the water, which I found was sort of cool. So you can actually click down into the barrel underneath the water and then get your obsidian out of your stone barrel, all without actually removing the water. So I did some of that. I also got a bunch of obsidian from loot bags, which we'll talk about in a bit. So one of the things we did was I had been running up a huge amount of seared stone through this porcelain melter. So as you can see, I have built a smeltery. Moo. I've got a mostly full iron barrel here. Got 247 barrels or buckets of lava here. Using an ender fluid conduit or fluid conduit from Ender.io, pumping into a seared gauge here. So we got that going on the side. We've got one casting drawer automated with a hopper underneath it feeding down into a slightly larger chest, which is just a chest with sticks around it to make it take up a full block. And then we've got, if I got anything left in there, I do. And then I've got one for ingots, so there's an ingot cast under here. This chest has a bunch of casts I made in it. The very first cast I made was gold, just to get ingots going, but then the rest of these were made out of aluminum brass. And then in the past I was pretty sure that you could throw these casts into either the part chest or the pattern chest, but doesn't seem to be holding them now. So again, that might be a version change, or maybe I'm misremembering something. So one of the things I wanted to try out, I've never gotten to use these translocators from the translocators mod. I have seen both Direwolf and Hypnotized use them, I think, and I wanted to give them a try. Especially in the case of the smeltery, because they bypass the slow pour of the faucet. And so if we right click on this bad boy, it basically just spits out an ingot's worth immediately. There's no delay between for pouring. So that's pretty cool. Um, so you make these in pairs. They aren't paired, but the recipe makes two at once. You can see this one has yellow and red dots on it. That's because I've clicked glowstone on it to make it do a higher rate. Uh, glowstone allows you to either, I think if you have no filters, glowstone makes it so that it automatically does like a full stack. I'm not sure if that even affects the fluid ones, but I did it just for kicks and giggles. Uh, and then the red, clicking redstone on it allows you to make it redstone controlled, which allows me to turn it off so that I don't necessarily take everything out if I don't want to. So for instance, I've got one block left in there. Now I can do this. And again, you can see how quickly it poured that block almost immediately. Alright, these cows are going to get on my last nerve. The only problem I'm having with this setup is that every time I quit the game and come back, these two that are up on the drains pop off. And so I have to camp here, and then when I log back in, I have to pick them up and the glowstone and the redstone up and place them back up here. So that's getting real old. So if anybody knows what that bug is about, if that's some sort of config change or some sort of weirdness I need to deal with, please let me know. I'm going to keep trying to figure it out. If I do, I'll put a comment under this video. So making these things, I like them a lot, other than the fact that they don't want to seem to stick to my drains when I close the game. I like them, but they required pistons, which pistons require electrotine alloy or red alloy. Now both of these I cannot make in the smeltery apparently. So I could either make them in an Ender IO alloy smelter, which of course I do not have yet, or I could create an alloy kiln. So I created an alloy kiln to make red alloy ingots and electrotine ingots. And so here is that. So that's one of the rabbit holes I went down. Ooh, look at those eggs. What else? I just sort of moved some of my other drawers over here. I'll figure out what I'm going to do from a drawer and barrel. I'm going to need to make a big depot of drawers or barrels probably at some point, so I'll need to figure out where I want to do that. This is just sort of sitting out here because it's stuff that I'm sort of working on, but I haven't done anything with yet. I did make one of these, the market, just out of curiosity. I wanted to see if it was makeable and what you could do it, and it turns out it's a wool, some planks, and some wood, so it's very easy to make. And if you're curious about what it does, it puts a villager vendor in here. You can click on here, and there are stuff that you can buy. In my last mod pack that I played, Enigmatica 2 Expert, you paid for stuff with emeralds, so I was sort of hoping for some of that action, but here you pay for things with rack, but it doesn't seem too horribly bad. So there's a bunch of stuff in here. You can actually, so this is interesting, I didn't quite notice this before, but you can actually pay 1 Cazadorian metal to get 64 rack, or bear huntian metal, or Sagtanite, whatever that is, Aristotite, these names. So we'll keep an eye open for that kind of stuff, and maybe we'll actually buy some. If you need like a mushroom, you can get that for 1 rack. These flowers, if you absolutely need a dye and you don't have one, you can buy one for a rack. Shouldn't really need to do that probably though. If there's some sapling that you really, really want, or some berry that you really, really want, you might be able to get that. Not familiar with these berries. I should look into that, see if any of these berries are interesting. I did look through most of the trees. These are like Pam's Harvest Crest trees. Didn't see anything too interesting in there, since we don't have that nutrition mod that I was just playing in Enigmatica 2 Expert, where if you eat a bunch of different foods, your health goes up. I'm not going to probably worry too much about it. But there are some interesting trees in here, which might help with your decorating, if nothing else. And a variety of foods if you want to make some sort of complicated food. I have not been able to sift any rice seeds, and I do not see rice seeds here for making rice slime balls, so I'm glad that we were sort of within range of a slime island. It was a bit of a hike, but we got out to it, and I'm glad. Because I'm not sure what I would have done for slime without him. So I'm going to put that away for now. Oops. This brings me to talk about the tools that I've made. So I have upgraded all of my tools with stuff from my Tinker Smeltery. So my sword is now got an osmium tool rod for extra experience, an elemental sword blade because it has a default attack of 5.25, and then if you mouse over it here, it's a 7.25 attack damage. And then a Alamite wide guard. So Alamite is not too bad to make early in this game. So if we took a look at that, Alamite is basically 5 parts aluminum, 2 parts iron, and 2 parts obsidian. So I think I used about maybe 2 blocks of obsidian, or yeah, it was maybe 4 blocks of obsidian, 4 molten iron, and 10 molten aluminum to get 6 ingots of Elamite. And the Elamite, the reason I wanted that was because it has Global Traveler on it. You can see there in red the ability Global Traveler. And what Global Traveler does, if you're not used to that, is you can assign a thing, assign a inventory to it, and then when you mine it, now it doesn't always work if you're breaking it, like if you say break a piece of wood with a pickaxe instead of actually mining the wood with an axe. But if you break it with the appropriate tool, it will send it to that inventory even across dimensions. So for instance here you can see the effective tool is a pickaxe. So if I this is set to this spot up here in this chest, so there are obviously no things in there, but if I break this, it disappears and it travels down to here. So that is really handy in a pre-dank null world. I took a look at the dank null and it's ways off for us. So Alamite on some of my tools is what I'm doing here. I've got Alamite on my broadsword, on my slime pickaxe that is going to be looting. I'm leaving it off of my Silk Touch pickaxe because sometimes when I'm working around here, I don't want to just send everything that I break over to those chests because that's sort of a pain in the butt. So I leave it off of my Silk Touch pickaxe. And I've got it on my hatchet and also on my shovel. So, and they're all hooked up, currently all hooked up to here. I might split them out later, but currently they're all hooked up to here. And this crazy contraption is just all about giving myself extra space to send stuff to it. So things will come in here, they'll go to this hopper, they'll go to here, go to this hopper, and go to here. And my global traveler, if I'm out in the field vein mining and shoveling all the dirt and chopping down all the trees, it'll fill up all of these chests before I have to worry about it filling up my inventory. The other thing I've got going on is I made a satchel. I've got it up to reinforced. So it is not huge, but it holds 27 things. And one of the things it's holding is an ender pouch. So now if I throw something in here, like this guy, it is the same as throwing it in this ender chest. You can see it is marked red, white, white. I bone mealed some grass, got some poppies, and made some rose red dye. But it's sort of hard to see, but this guy is also red, white, white. So one of his little buttons is red. And to hook a ender pouch up to an ender chest, you basically just shift right click the chest with the pouch, and it'll take on the same color channel as the chest. So now if I'm out in the field and I pick up a bunch of stuff, let's say I loot a bunch of things out of loot chests in a dungeon or whatnot, I can throw them in here. This hopper will send them into this chest, and here's my block of iron. Pardon me, I have to cough. Alright, so anyway, all of this is basically just, I didn't want to go traipsing about the dimensions off camera, so this is all just about getting prepared to go off to the nether and the hunting dimension, which if we have some time, we will do some of that at the end of this episode. Here's another shelf. This one has just got, is going to have a bunch of gear. I accidentally shift clicked into when I made some iron wands, so I have a lot of those. And then these are, I'm going to put basically weapons and gear and armor and scrolls and potions in this set of stuff. These are sort of interesting. I'm not familiar at all with CoRail, but basically you can, I don't want to click it because I don't want to use it up, but basically the best I can tell on these guys, so this is an enchanted scroll of reach, enhances reach, hold right click to cast this spell. So when I originally did this, did it like this and sort of pointed out in the air and nothing happened. But when I do it here and sort of point it at the floor, then it sort of draws back like a bow, and then it eventually fires off at your feet. So it's sort of like a combination of a bow and a splash potion in how it affects or in how it feels. And then when you do this, it gives you about a 10-minute buff. And there are ones for purification that dispels negative effects, feather falling, prevents damage 1 second out of every 5, preserves experience and beneficial effects on death. So there's a few of these. I actually wasn't sure what these were and ended up deleting a bunch of them because I thought I couldn't figure out how to use them at first. I got a ton of these out of loot bags, but now that I know what they are, I'm sort of keeping an eye on them. I also, from CoRail Tombstone, made an Ankh of Prey, which... Can I use this again? The timer's off, so I think I can use this again. So what you do with this is you can make yourself a decorative tombstone. So here's a tombstone. And when you're near this, you can shift right click on this. And you get a random buff, which I don't even know what planar binding 4 is, but I've got that for the next 12 minutes or so. And more importantly, it gives you, if you keybind Knowledge of Death from CoRail, it gives you some points here. I might have to spend some to get more. And basically you can buy some of this stuff, which opens up little abilities. Um, Scribe gives you plus 10% scroll duration. I assume those are those scrolls that I was just talking about. Um, Rune Inscriber. Apparently there are runes you can use. Plus 20% chance to receive an enchanted key. I believe an enchanted key allows you to teleport straight to your tombstone uh, when you die. I think you get a normal key. I'd have to run to your tombstone. Ghostly Shape. I think these give you special abilities in the wraith form that you're in. Um, right after you die and before you loot your tombstone, and etc. There are just things here. The voodoo puppets allow you to. There are voodoo dolls that you can craft, and then if you have them unlocked, they will prevent you from dying of things like drowning and burning and lava and falling and etc. So anyway, I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing with that, but I'm starting to investigate it. There are a lot of mods here that I don't know anything about, like, say, move fluids. So I've got a bit of a learning curve here. Oh, and now if I mouse over it, you can see over on the right of the tooltip it says 3 hours. So basically you can click that every 3 hours. And I think I'm just clicking it every once in a while to try and get points to spend on abilities once I figure out what abilities to spend it on. So yeah, other than that, I got a couple of enchanted books. I have been opening up several of the, or many of the loot bags. Let's see, do I have anything more to talk about here? I've set up an enchantment table, but I don't have the experience yet to start enchanting things, but I wanted to get it set up because we're going to go get a bunch of experience as soon as we travel through those portals that I haven't traveled through yet. Let's see, is there anything more to talk about out here? I think that's about it. I have made some Ender item conduits because those are nice and I like them. And that involved throwing some ender pearls and some iron into my smeltery to make the pulsating ingots. The one last thing is, so you may have noticed this little white spot here. This is just a marker chiseled piece of cobblestone. What that is, do I want to go ahead and use it? Well, basically, if you do the / command sethome, one word, it sets a home point in this mod pack. And then if you type home and stand still for 5 seconds, you teleport back to here. I'm not going to do it now because we might get a chance to run to one of the plains real quick if I haven't babbled too long. And so I might need to use it to get back. This was originally a waterfall going down into the void. I toyed with the idea of trying to swim down there and create a platform to capture squid or to get squid, but then I realized I was getting squid beaks from loot bags, so I stopped because that made me nervous. But we might do that when we can fly. So the one thing that took up a good deal of my time was this thing sort of self-destructed. I think I even said last time, it's like, hey, it's not causing any lag if I just leave items sitting there, so I'm just going to let items sit there. And that was true for hours and hours, and then all of a sudden, my game lagged to a standstill, and it was after I had put in those... after I had put down the decorative tombstone and after I had put in those things there and after I'd done a few other things, so I wasn't exactly sure what was causing the lag. This had seemed to be causing no problems, so I wasn't sure why it would suddenly now be causing problems. But sure enough, when after exhausting all the possibilities out there, I came over here, and the closer I got to this building, the worse the lag was. And it just turned out that there were tons and tons of loot bags that were not despawning fast enough. Literally hundreds of loot bags sitting in that room once I filtered them out. So I quickly learned that we do have to pick up all the stuff that is dropping from this mob farm, and there's lots of stuff. So I did make a second advanced item collector. It doesn't have a filter in it, but fortunately, thank goodness, it will actually collect stuff and drop all. It will collect all the bags that it can and drop them straight into this loot bag storage for us. So that really cleans up this whole situation. The only one it's not picking up is the artificial bag, which is probably sort of garbagey anyway. And it's not picking up the patient bag, which I think if you try to open it over and over and over and over again, eventually you'll get something. I can't remember what. Hold on a second, I have to cough. Eventually you'll get something like an Eye of Ender or an Ender Pearl or something. I'm not going to mess with that. I tried to open one several times and gave up. So this is working much better now. So this one has a blacklist so that it will not pick up loot bags, but it picks up everything else. And then this one picks up any loot bags that aren't picked up by that one. And then down here, it's sort of hard to see, but I can mouse over it. I've got a trash can from Extra Utilities 2 and a Ender IO conduit with an item filter. And I am filtering out rotten flesh, sticks, string, raw mutton, and gunpowder because I have a ton of that stuff and I need to somewhat keep this under control. So that's what's going on here. This is all working fine. It's much more calm now. There's no lag now, so everything is good. Just to give you a feel for what we got going on. This is why I'm filtering out string. This is why I'm filtering out gunpowder. This is why I'm filtering out raw mutton. Raw mutton isn't compostable. And it doesn't give you a lot of food when you cook it, so I'm filtering it out. I deleted a whole bunch of basically the nuclear craft music discs do not stack, so I'm deleting all the extras of those. I'm keeping stacks of the vanilla music discs here. Deleting a lot of other stuff out of this. For instance, I really probably only need, I'm not sure why there's two different versions of the arc furnace electrodes. But I've been deleting some of the spares of those. I put a crafting table right here so that when I pull stuff out of here to go into there, I'm turning the inferium essence into blocks, and I'm also turning bones into blocks. So I'm compressing some stuff there. And I've been pulling out mana steel because I may have a use for that at some point in the very near future. And I've been pulling out a lot of other things like things that I'm going to use like Certus crystals. I've been pulling out redstone and glowstone and ender pearls. And a few other things. And then I've been taking a lot of the raw pork chops and raw beef and raw chicken and temporarily storing it in my dirt composting bin that is turned off. I don't think I'm going to need them, and I don't think I'm going to need to compost them, but it's some place to put them. So that's what's going on here. Let's talk a bit about these wither bones. So again, I've sort of been preparing to venture out into other dimensions. So I have armor. Ooh, witherbone helmet, witherbone chestplate, witherbone leggings. And in my bag, I can complete the suit with a witherbone boots. So one of the problems I have with this whole thing is that if we look at Armor Plus, um, to make armor in this thing, there's a huge armor progression thing through these workbench, the high-tech workbench, the ultimate tech bench, etc. And a lot of them starting out with, this low-level stuff is just bad. Um, let's find some of the ones. I don't even know what the progression looks like. I know that uh, coal is one of them, and this is one of the reasons I am not going through this. Is that so? This is like the third or fourth armor set after things like leather and tin and copper, I think maybe. So this is like the fourth set of armor, if I recall correctly. And look at the durability: 22 durability, uh, 32 durability on the coal chest plate. And to upgrade these, um, yeah. So here's the next one down was copper. Copper has better durability, but still, it's not great. Um, but to upgrade these, like if we want to make the coal version, um, you have to use your copper ones, and they have to be full durability. So you have to keep them repaired. So if you wear this stuff and then get it damaged, then you have to repair it all. Uh, and I can't find any. There's not like a magma anvil or any of that stuff here. So I'm not exactly sure if there are better repair options. I got to look into that. But it just looked like a big old headache. When I took a glance at Titan mode 3 or 4 months ago, the immersive engineering steel armor was in here and was pretty good, and was not part of this armor plus progression. Um, but it's not in here now. You got the Faraday stuff, but the Faraday stuff isn't all that great. It has horrible durability, and yeah. So the steel armor is not in here. I sort of like that stuff because it sort of looks like the Mark One Iron Man suit from the movies. But anyway, I did dig around through JE, and I did find this Witherbone stuff that has, decent protection. It's not great, but it's okay. And we were getting plenty of these Witherbones, so I was able to make that, and I now have several more to repair it if we need to. One last thing I was going to do is I just wanted to mention that if I grab one of these bags, it is possible to shift right click these bags onto a container, and it'll open it up for you and put the stuff in there. So for instance, that one had 4 paper in it. So that's how I did this a lot, was basically I grabbed a bunch of these and just shift right clicked on these, waited for it to fall down, and then shift clicked it some more. And I opened a bunch of bags that way. Pardon me, I have to clear my throat again. Okay, so anyway, I think that's about all I wanted to say about this. So I think that basically covers most of what I've been up to. I shouldn't have started a new world and a new mod pack on a weekend, because I've played like a lot of hours in between last episode and this episode. You can see up in the top left we're on day 100. Now a lot of that was day 100 was me being AFK. But still, we did a lot of stuff. But I think that covers most of what I wanted to talk about. Yeah. So I'm going to clean up my let me pause. I'm going to clean up my inventory. I'm going to check our runtime, and if we have time left over, maybe we'll hop into the hunting dimension for the first time for me ever, and we'll see what that looks like. Be right back. Okay, we got about 10 minutes, so we won't get too far into it, but we can at least pop in and see what we're up against. I did turn up my chunk distance beyond the default and saw that we had a couple more slime islands in the not too horribly distant future, easy enough to fly to, not so much to build to. So that's why I built my platform out kind of this direction, because I figured we might as well get ourselves a bit closer to that one. That's an astral sorcery temple. It's not a big one with a floating crystal in it, but still, it'd be cool to go out there and grab some stuff. A few other things I did want to talk about. I did build an Akashic tome. So if you're familiar with this, if you right-click, you can actually build the tome and then put books into it on the crafting table. So these are the manuals that I have, and I've combined those into the Akashic tome, so I can have those with me. I did also make a hang glider and a slime sling, so we got that going on. Can maybe pull those out in case we want to use those. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and switch to my armor boots. And what else? There was something else I was going to mention here. Oh, I've been getting from some of the high-level loot bags shulker soul vials. So I clicked one on the ground, and sure enough, it spawned a shulker. And that gave me a soul vial, which I can use sort of like a golden lasso. So I captured the chicken in a soul vial and then placed the chicken on the hopper. So I have a soul vial here available to me in case there's anything I want to grab. And I do have several more shulker vials that I might pick up and use. And I think I'm going to go ahead and try one of these again. I haven't tried one of the True Sight ones yet. So let's see what happens here. Alright, there we go. So now we should be able to see in the dark. And I've got a bunch of stone with me. So my main goals here are we need to kill a skeleton, a creeper, an ancient golem, and a zombie to get this done. And since I've been killing everything with my automated farm, I haven't done any of that yet. So I've got a bow and some arrows, and we might be able to get that done. And I also want to snag a bunch of free dirt. So what I'm going to do in here, I don't know how bad this is. I've literally never been in here before. But I'm just going to land, and I'm going to try and quickly build a little cobblestone wall around us so that we can then get some dirt, and then we can climb up on the wall and shoot things. So here we go. And sorry I'm moving a little fast here, but I've sort of babbled far too long, and we don't have a lot of runtime left here. And things are moving at us really quick here, so this might get ugly. We're definitely not going to get a wall built fast. And things are pretty tough here. Taking a decent amount of damage. They're webbing me. Let's see if we can keep building a wall here. Got some zombies coming in. Denied. Alrighty. Got ourselves a little respite here. That is good. Gonna throw down a couple of torches, even though it's nice because we don't do that. The spiders will come over the wall here, so I'm going to try and give ourselves a bit of a roof here. We'll pop up out the top of the roof. When we decide to do some shooting. I think right now I'm mostly more interested in getting unlimited dirt. So let's go ahead and get that going. The spiders did take quite a few more hits than normal spiders. I think they are, the critters are buffed here. But that is okay. That's why we made ourselves some witherbone armor and upgraded our tinker's sword. So I did panic a little because I wasn't sure how much tougher they were. And they shot some web at me, so that was a little crazed. Got a bunch of demon animals going on here too, so that's cool. Alright, but we have successfully done the thing. We have made ourselves a foothold here. And now if you look around here, this is a flat biome. And it is... walking backwards seems to be a problem. So in super flat biomes like this, I think we've got a... let's see, where do I want to put this? Let's go down right here. I'm going to soak touch the grass because it's always good to have some grass blocks. Then we're going to grab our shovel. And if I understand correctly, we should be able to, boom, go down to bedrock. And we've basically got, let's see, it looks like 2 layers of dirt and then grass blocks. Perfect. So what we're going to do here is... and I do have slimy things to get better durability on these, so most of my tools have slime crystal stuff, slime crystal heads on them. And the reason they have that is because we're going to vein mine. And you can see that we do not break the grass blocks, so the monsters don't come down to us. And if we look in my inventory, other than the grass block that I soak touched, which does not have the global traveler turned on, if you hit, I think the default is I, you can turn global traveler on and off. So here's, I've got my shovel in my hand and global traveler's on, and I could toggle it off if I want. But now we're going to do this. Oh, and I am hungry. Maybe I should have brought more food. So these little slimes, they'll push you around a little, but they can't actually hurt you. And I'm almost out of durability on my shovel. But, and there it goes. We did get, I lost track, I wasn't paying attention, but I think we got a couple of levels on our shovel from that vein mining. And that's how you get a whole bunch of dirt. Probably I should light this up so that nothing spawns in here. Because we're going to probably come back here and grab some more dirt at some point in the future. We'll head back home and take a look at how much dirt we got on this dirt raid. So I turned on the F7 that showed me the light meter, and I'm just placing torches to make sure this is all lit up. We want to keep the monsters up in the grass and keep this all to ourselves. Let's see. We now have 5 modifiers. So I can go back and make this unbreakable. So my shovel will be unbreakable the next time we come here. And I'll remember to bring more food too in case we need it. So there you have it, a successful dirt raid. Oh, I forgot to bring ladders. All this preparation, and I forgot one thing, which is the ladder. But we can just go up here. And there you have it. And we're about out of time, so what I'm going to do here, let's show you the home command. So if I hit /HOME and enter, you can see right above my health it says please stand still for 5 seconds. And then boom, we are teleporting to our home point, which is this little white marker at the foot of my bed. And last but not least, we have dirt. So you can see we've got lots of stacks of dirt. And we also, since my sword also has Global Traveler and also points to here, we got a slime pearl and some slime balls. Real quick, I do love the and I can actually do it from my backpack. I didn't really have time or need to do it, but to repair these, I can carry around green slime crystals. I have a spare tool station here. Throw that up there. Grab this. Slime crystal, boom. I'm going to go ahead and repair it all the way because I'm going to just make it unbreakable now. I'm going to make it unbreakable, and then I am going to change the head from slime to something that digs faster or that has some other modifier that I like. But the reason I went slime for this initial thing is that a slime shovel head has 1000 durability. And with the osmium tool rod, that puts the durability on this guy nice and high. So I start out with slime crystals. Those are just slime that we had, and dirt and sand to make slimy mud, and then you put it in the furnace to turn it into slime crystals. So yeah, there you go. We successfully did our first raid, interdimensional raid, and that raid was for dirt. Lots and lots of dirt. But yeah, we got all the dirt we're going to need for a while. But not forever, because I can't have all these cows running around. Ooh, this is a vanilla cow. Hello, buddy. Hello, you. I think I need milk from you to make cake. I'm going to grab some milk real quick, and then, so that you do not wander off or disappear or despawn or anything, I'm going to go ahead and capture you in a, capture your soul here until I decide what to do with you. I guess all my fluid cows are still here, so maybe they stick around, but I don't want to take any chances. Don't know when I'm going to get another vanilla cow. And we want to make some cake. Does cake take milk? I don't even know. Yes, it takes milk. We need to make cakes to finish up the portal quests. We've made portals, but I don't think we've gotten credit for, or we've made another portal, but we have not made these 2 cakes, which is necessary to get credit for the nether. And I'm not sure if this locks us out of going into other dimensions or not. But I would need to figure out, I want to, as soon as possible, figure out how to get to more dimensions to get more stuff. Because I like raiding them for junk. So we got to figure out how to get to a lot of other places. So here's some of the stuff I completed in between last episode and this episode. I made some barrels, some drawers, a compacting drawer. I made a crushing table and a shelving unit. I got some hemp seeds and a hammer. I needed a piece of hemp for something. I forget what. I made graphite. I didn't even realize that would be a thing, but it is. And what the heck's down here at row? Oh, I got a sortish quartz. I think I just got one of those out of a loot bag. Anyway, things have been accomplished, so I'll collect all that stuff. I think it's all just rack. Okay, brilliant. I'm over time here. I got a chicken. I got a cow. I've got milk and eggs. Things are going wonderfully here. I've got dirt and lots of it. Now what I'll do, probably in between this episode and next, I will go back into the hunting dimension. I will make some stairs up. I will expand our foothold. I'll make some arrow slits, and I'll make some, traps where I can hack at monsters' feet with my sword where they can't attack me or see me. And between arrows and stuff like that, I will kill some monsters over there and try to finish up that kill quest that we have. I have not seen any ancient golems appear in my mob farm, so we probably would have had to gone there and do that anyway to get this done. I'm also going to figure out what to do with moo fluid cows and decide if I want to keep them or not, and then find a way to pin up animals and probably put a little fence around my grass area before to get this all under control. But there you have it. Big episode. A lot of stuff happened in between last episode and this episode, but we're getting someplace. Next time we will go to the Nether for the first time. I'll try to withhold myself from going there before doing it on camera, because I want to try and save some of the action style stuff for doing that, as opposed to you guys just watching me craft. So next time we'll do the Nether, and the Nether will allow us to then, I think, sift some crushed netherrack. That's going to be one of my main goals. It's going to be the same kind of thing. We're going to dash into the Nether. We're going to vein mine the crap out of some netherrack to fill up this with netherrack, and then we can sift that netherrack and get some gems and stuff. And I think some of the gemstone armors might bypass. Let's see. Does this stuff bypass the... Yeah, this stuff is pretty nice. I think it's diamond quality, and it bypasses the armor progression too, so we might be able to wear some gemstone pieces that might be a little bit better than our witherbone stuff until I get around to powering through the low-level armors in Armor Plus. Alright, anyway, I'm over time. I'm going to stop babbling. Thanks for watching. If you're enjoying the series, please leave a like or a comment, and just let me know that you want to see more, and I will keep filming them. Talk to you later. Bye.